everyone, it's Alan Lepofsky here from Constellation Research, and today I am joined by my friend and former colleague, Vice President of IBM Collaboration Services, Ed Brill. Hi, Ed.
How you doing?
I'm doing well. Where are you? It looks you've always been known as a road warrior. I think you're taking it literally.
I am on the side of the road in the great city of Chicago.
All right. Well, thank you for pulling over safely, and I appreciate you taking the time today. What we want to do is talk to the audience today about IBM Verse. There were some announcements towards the end of last year, and I know with busy schedules and holidays, we were going to talk. But thank you for taking the time now at the start of the quarter to talk about it. So,
Yep.
In as little marketing speak as possible, I know that can sometimes be a challenge for all of us. But tell everybody, like, what is IBM Verse?
So IBM Verse is our, now we're getting an echo. Hopefully that'll go away. IBM Verse is our part of our collaborative cloud solution, which is it's the email and calendar component, but it's really about reinvented email. We really wanted to get away from the metaphor of first in, first out, have to read everything, feeling like you're in overload mode, and get into a more of a new way to work where you can be more prioritized, a little bit more around cognitive and I'm into marketing speak.
That's okay.
But something the notion that you're going to get what's meaningful in that email experience rather than feeling like you're flooded with everything.
So an email client, I like the term, reinventing email. We all still, even though there's different tools out there and new and additional tools, we all still have email as part of our day. Verse, first announced a couple years ago was that, as you said, the reinvented email client uses some cognitive capabilities, helps us focus. What's new about the announcement that came out towards the end of last year?
Yeah, so at the end of last year, we were coming up on, we're not quite 2 years in market with Verse. And we built it as a cloud solution. We built it to integrate with Watson, which is a cloud solution. We built it to integrate with things like Apache Solar. And, the reality is that the move to cloud for enterprise email has not gone quite as rapidly as we may have predicted when we started the project. And so there was pretty significant demand, both from our existing clients who are on IBM nodes, as well as from organizations that are in regulated industries or governments, to have an instance of Verse that could run on premises and run in an existing, IT traditional data center deployment model. And so that's what we shipped at the end of the year, was the ability to run Verse in an on-premises environment.
Well, what I like about that is it sounds like you said you had a lot of customer demand for that. And this wasn't sort of an IBM decision then kind of pushed down to the customers. It sounds like you were really sort of reacting to, a few years ago, cloud is obviously very popular. You built this new cloud service, but you have a large customer base that wants this on-premises email offering, which is a pretty good competitive differentiator for you against, say, something like Gmail, which, obviously popular as well, but they don't offer on-premises. So IBM is now giving that as an option. Is that correct? That's shipping and available, and you can now have Verse within your own company, correct?
That's right. Yeah. So we shipped on December 30th of 2016. So it's been out a few weeks. And that's the exact topology. So the capabilities that we can deliver in an on-prem environment are available. The user experience, the features and functions all work in an on-prem environment.
Okay, so that's great. Customers are going to be able to access that if they need. How about the business partner side of things? That's also always been a big important part of the IBM Partner Ecosystem, things they can build and add-ons and things like that. What do partners need to know about Verse in general, and then is there anything specific about this new on-premises version of it that you want the partner community to know?
Right. So I think that the existing ecosystem that's been there for 25 years now around Notes and Domino has a real opportunity with Verse on premises to revisit customers that are still using Notes and Domino and maybe haven't moved anywhere. They're running older versions or whatever, and present them with this new opportunity to get an improved user experience that might or might not be a bridge to cloud. And it's less relevant whether that's true than it was in the past, where we thought, of course, it's got to be a bridge to cloud. Now we're recognizing, hey, we've got to deliver some capability to continue on-prem if that's the configuration they want. Verse is getting some extensibility points. Actually, Salesforce posted a video recently showing integration between Salesforce and Verse using our extensibility menus that were added towards the end of the year. And there'll be more APIs and more capabilities in the next 6 to 9 months, where we'll add full API capability and extensibility to be able to customize the Verse UI and hook into it from other applications.
Well, I think that's what partners have done for years. And you mentioned the Notes Domino world. When Verse first launched in the cloud, I think it wasn't super relevant to kind of talk about the architecture. Nobody knows what the architecture of most cloud services are unless you're a pure IT geek. It's important. I think you've mentioned a couple times to point out that for existing customers, it sounds like Verse on-prem that's being forced down their throats, or things they have to learn to secure or administrate or anything. It's sort of based on the existing architecture that they use today. Is that correct?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, it's an add-in task to the environment they already have, but it okay. Runs, it administers, it certifies, all of that is the same core infrastructure that Notes and Domino have been.
Okay, so existing infrastructure, great for customers that want things on-prem. That kind of brings me to, you've got the existing, Lotus, IBM, Notes, Domino world. There's been a lot of changes, and IBM across the board is sort of building all their solutions together. Where does Verse fit into sort of the rest of the ICS portfolio, and maybe even if you want to expand a little bit further? So where does that kind of fit in?
So Verse, Verse is part of our Connections cloud offering on the cloud side, and now on-prem we have a Connections on-prem and a Verse on-prem. So we have a match pair in both places, so that if you need the enterprise social network or engagement platform, whatever term you prefer,
that's Connections.
And that's Connections, okay. Right? And they're integrated now. Like Connections capabilities are surfaced in Verse, whether you're in Verse Cloud or Verse on-prem, right? So
what's an example? What do you mean a Connections capability?
So when I'm addressing a message in a traditional sort of email metaphor in Verse, and I want to look somebody up, I have access to their business card and profile, and all of that is coming from Connections. So if they're on-prem, it's going to come from a Connections on-prem, and if they're in the cloud, it's going to come from a Verse on cloud. And you can store your file attachments in Connections instead of storing them in the email system, for example.
Oh, well, so customers definitely want to eliminate as much, file sharing and things via email as they can. So I think that Connections file integration with Verse is obviously important. Right. And how about the cognitive capabilities? I know you mentioned right at the start, that's kind of one of the strengths of what we're doing. That's sort of at IBM. It's exciting to hear that you guys are sort of working together on that.
Right. So our original vision around Verse was this notion of connecting me to we and less clutter, more clarity. So, okay, I got my buzzwords out of the way. I got my marketing.
There'll be a test afterwards for the viewers.
Yeah. What we're trying to do is get to a couple of use cases in email, like a prioritized inbox that looks at cues in your environment to say, here are the emails that are really important. Based on projects that might be part of your activity stream, based on things that are on your calendar, people you interact with frequently that are important to you, things that you're waiting for follow-up on, have that funnel to the top instead of being the first in, first out whack-a-mole metaphor we're used to for the last 30, 40 years. So that's driven by Watson, a set of things we call Watson Work Services. And then, beyond that, within Connections and within Verse and some of our newer solutions, we're trying to instantiate cognitive bots for knowledge and also for task assistance. So those are really what we're after.
All right. Well, that whole sort of AI or artificial intelligence or cognitive computing powered world is something, not just as an analyst covering the space, but as a user of these tools, I sort of can't wait for the next 1 month, 6 months, year, 3 years, whatever it is, for all of our software to start to get more intelligent and really help us get our job done. So we got Verse on premises. Customers should go take advantage of that now. Big partner opportunities kind of segues us to the last thing. You've got a big conference coming up. I think I'm going to be there as well. But do you want to tell people a little bit about IBM Connect and what they should expect and why they should be there?
Sure. IBM Connect is coming up on February 20th to 23rd in San Francisco at the Moscone Center. That is a new venue for this particular event. The event has its heritage back all the way in Lotusphere, which was started in 1994, I think, and has been in Orlando for most of that run. And we decided this year to pick it up and move it to the West Coast and, hang with some cool kids. So
fresh new product, fresh new location. I think it should probably be a great event.
Yeah. And some partners as well. So, yeah.
Well, thank you for pulling over on the side of the road there. I feel like maybe we need to do some, a Seinfeld comedians in cars thing here or something. But, I think we got some good technical information out there for people. And, hopefully you'll see some people at IBM Connect.
All right, that'd be great. All right, thanks a lot.
All right. Thanks, Ed. Drive
All
safe.
right, see you. Bye.